Hey, it's me, Paco, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Hey guys, it is, like I said earlier, it's me, Paco. Welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be going over my November wrap-up. How is it already November? This is the last wrap-up of the year, because I always put my wrap-ups the first Friday of the month. And so December's wrap-up will be in January. So this is the last wrap-up of the year. I am surprised we made it. It has been a long year that went by quick. This month itself has been very hectic. I'm going to do the stats part of the video after this. It's going to be clipped, but I don't have my reading journal in front of me, so I will put that in a second. So Future Paco. Hi, so this is Future Paco. I'm here with the stats. So in November, I read 7 books. 4 of them were young adult fantasy books. One was an adult fantasy, one was a smutty adult romance, and one was a Marvel comic bind up. I listened to 3 audiobooks. I finished 3 audiobooks this month. I read 2 physical books and 2 ebooks. So those are statistics. So back to the lazy Paco, who didn't want to stop and grab the reading journal when he was filming. He just was like, I'll do it later. And this is me saying, you could have done it. You could have gotten up. But you didn't want to. Thanks, Future Paco. You didn't have to be an ass. But now we're going to get to the books I read. So we're going to go over the first we're going to go over the books I don't have. And then we will go over the physical books. So I think I don't have 3 of the books I read. 3 of the 7. So I read 7 books this month. I did say that earlier already. Well, later for me, but earlier for y'all. But so out of the 7 books I read, 3 I do not have on me. And the first one we're going to go over is Door in the Dark. The picture will be right here with the author's name, because I forget the author's name. But this book is a YA fantasy. It is a very D&D inspired world and an interesting magic system that I thought was pretty interesting. But basically, these group of 6 kids, like they're like high school, college age kids, are going to this thing that transports them home. But something happens and they end up like basically traveling way farther than they should in the abandoned wilds that they then have to survive, and they are being hunted by something. And this book is low-key terrifying. Like, I finished it in 1 sitting, and the audio was really good. I had a work shift where I was doing stemless glass. I was polishing glassware, so I just sat down, was polishing the glass. I had to like polish like 600 glasses, and I turned the audiobook on and I knocked it out. And this was the book club pick for the book club I go to in my hometown. But I enjoyed it. I thought the main character was pretty interesting. And like I said, the magic system was really what won it for me, because it was counted. You had like only so much, like magic with a finite resource. A person could only use so much magic a day without having to get a refill. And so the characters had to be smart about the magic they were casting. You know, it was pretty interesting. Like, it was very D&D world. You had paladins, and then the magic spells, like they had cantrips and stuff like that. So if you know D&D, you'd get the vibe of that. But I am interested in the sequel. It's not like top of my list. I need to read the sequel, but it was pretty interesting. The villain of this was really creepy, and I recommend. Like, it was a fun ride. That was probably like a 3.5 stars. Next book I don't have on me is a smutty book on Kindle Unlimited I found because I follow an Instagram artist, and they did fan art for this, and it was hot. And I was like, okay, let me look up this book, and the book was good. It was Cam Daddy, and I forget the author's name as well, but this is the same author that wrote the construction book. I forget this construction series, I believe. And they have like a construction series, and I read one of their books earlier this year and I did not enjoy it, but this I really enjoyed. So this follows 2 friends. One is a CEO, or like a entrepreneur, a CPO, just started his own company, and his best friend, roommate, who is a personal trainer. But what the personal trainer also has is an OnlyFans. And they live together, they're best friends, and the CEO's kind of always had a thing for his best friend. And one day he accidentally discovers his friend's OnlyFans, and then he's watching it because, like, he can't control himself. And he is accidentally stumbled upon watching the videos in a compromising situation, and shit goes from there. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was a Kindle Unlimited read. Like, I got my smut fix that I needed because, like I said earlier, November has been just a really slow reading month for me. And when I'm in those slower reading months, that's when Kindle Unlimited smutty books are really good for me. They get me out of my slump, okay? Now, the last book is a book I finished technically today on December 1st, but we're counting it. And that is Miss Marvel, the New Normal. And this is one of my book club picks for the month of November. For the Enchanted Forest Book Club, the discussion is Sunday, so it is legit a couple days if you're watching this, the day this is posted. But this follows the adventure of our new hero, Kamala Khan, as she is affected by the Terrigen Mist and gets new powers. This deals with a lot of identity, her being a brown Muslim girl in a city, in a world where they're not seen as heroes because of, like, racism and shit. And she's a huge Captain Marvel fan, and it's really good. I really enjoyed it. There was a scene that almost made me like emotional when I was reading it today at work, and I was like, I don't need to be feeling this. It was just really sweet scene between her and her dad. I like the family aspect of it. I will probably continue this series later. I don't know when, because I'm in, like, a lot of series I need to catch up on. But I enjoyed this for what it was, so I'm excited to talk about it in the book club day. And the next book I need to read is Photon, but I will be reading that after I film this today. Because I'm filming this late at night. This video should have been up way earlier. But that's neither here nor there. So those are the 3 books I read digitally. And they're all about, like, 3.5 to 4 stars. So now we're going to get to the books I own physically. Now, I listened to the audiobook for this one. I finally got to The Iron Raven by Julia Kawa. So this book finally follows Puck. He's a character that's been in the other 2 trilogies and a side book of the Iron Fae, Puck, Robin Goodfellow. And this book is his book, so we finally get his perspective, and I enjoyed it. This was really a callback to the first trilogy, it felt like, because it followed Puck, it had Megan, it had Kieran. Kieran was in a little bit, but it was following the original gang, basically, with some newcomers added to it, and I really enjoyed this one. I think I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the books in the previous series, because I enjoyed Puck's main character more. He wasn't as angsty. He was angsty in this book, but the angst was for a reason. It wasn't just like I'm a teen boy angsty as in the last trilogy. So I really enjoyed this. I like the love interest, our new character. Nyx was a moon elf, and she was really cool described. So I enjoyed this. The action is great. And like, I would recommend Julia Kawa if you're looking for a quick book. Julia Kawa, like, this book is like a little over 300 pages, and she writes the action really well. I've noticed that in her other books I've read by her, but I really enjoyed this. I will be continuing the series. I hope to finish the series this month. I have 2 books, but again, it's Julia Kawa's fast-paced books, so I'm hoping to get them done this month. So the next book is the next physical book I physically read, and that is The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. So this book follows Lore. Lore has the ability to use Mortem, which is death magic, in a world where that's illegal. Basically, like, only the select few priests are allowed to use the magic of death. If you're not one of those priests, you're a necromancer and you're banned, and like you're supposed to be put to death. But Lore is has this, like, power to use it more powerfully than, like, anybody else that should be able to use it. And she's in hiding. She's doing her best to work for her moms, who run this, like, smuggling ring, because in this world, people drink poison because it can add years to their life. And, like, it gets them so close to death that it adds years to life, kind of. And it's interesting. This is an interesting world where death is an interesting concept. But one day, she's found out and taken captive by the guards. And instead of being put to death, the head priest is like, hey, I got a mission for you. And she is forced to be assigned to another guard. And they have to kind of, like, get in close with the prince, because the other guard, get in close with the prince to find shit out. And I really enjoyed this. I gave this, like, a 4 stars. It's almost a 4. It's like a 3.5, really. But I put 4 stars on Goodreads. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed Lore's interaction with our 2 main male characters. I think it's Sebastian and, Germain, I think, or G something. It's been a minute. But I really enjoyed it. I think the prince in this book is basically if Dorian from Throne of Glass was allowed to be his bi self fully. Like, fully allowed to be bi. I feel like that was the main character in this. The main male character, the prince character in this. And I lived it for it. I was loving the prince in this book. I'm very excited for the sequel. I will be continuing on with the series. But this is a 4 stars for me. Like I said. Next book I read was, I finally finished out Sabatiers, the Ember and the Ashes Quartet, Sky and Storm. This book wraps up the adventures of Laia, Elias, and Helen in an interesting way. I thought the world was really great in this one. There were some twists and turns I didn't see coming. It took me forever to get into this audiobook because work is just, like, killing me. I've said before. But I really enjoyed this book. This is a 4 stars. The audiobook's really good. I don't want to get too much into it because this is the finale of the series. But if you don't know what Ember and the Ashes are, it follows Lila and Elias. 2 people are controlled by the Empire. Lila, because she is a member of the Scholar people, who are the oppressed. And they're slaves. Not all of them, but some of them are slaves. And her family is basically killed by the guards one day, and she has to try to join the resistance, and the resistance is like, you could join us, but you have to be a spy slave, like be a slave and a spy. And the cruelest person who runs the academy for the guards, and Elias is a member of these guards, not by choice, like he is forced to be, and he desperately is trying to escape that life because he is not trying to be a brutal, evil person. And the world is really interesting. It's just like not much magic in the first book, but once you get into the magic, so interesting, and I really enjoyed this book. I am hoping somebody here is more fantasy, but, like, stop hurting us, please. Enjoyed this. This was another 4. So now it's time for my favorite book of the month. I wasn't even planning on reading this, but the book came out last month, and I was like, I'm not going to wait no longer. So that was Sinner's Isle by Angela Montoya. This is a debut book. This came out in October. I did go to the book of signing for it because it's a local author, which I love the fact she's a local author. So I went to her first ever book signing on Halloween. It was awesome. So this book, how do I describe it? This book follows 2 characters, Rosalinda and Marino. Rosalinda is a majestic, so a witch who has phantom shadow powers. And the majestics of this kingdom, this is a very Latino-inspired fantasy, so it's not your basic European shit. But Rosalinda is a majestic, and majestics in this world are witches who each have magic, and the church and the people in power have said, y'all are evil, and we're going to put you all on this island, and you can't leave the island unless you bind your life and soul to a man with power and money that pays the church, and will better help the kingdom. And Rosalinda does not want that. She tries to escape. Shit goes wrong in, like, the first chapter. And Marino is the son of El Draco, the dragon, who is a pirate, infamous pirate, basically like the Blackbeard of this world. And something happens on his ship where he and his best friend and the best character of this book, Santiago, have to escape. And they end up on the Isle, and it is all around the time that all the rich people are coming to the Isle of Sinner Isle to all, like, the offerings. So when the Majestics have to be bound to the, Majestics of age have to be bound to the men. Rosalinda is, like, the top choice because she is the most powerful, and then these 2 fates collide. It's a romance. Very good. I loved Rosalinda's rage she had in this book, and I really enjoyed it. Like, the romance was chef kiss for me. It was fatey, like fate wise, which made the the interactions between the 2 characters were a little brief in the beginning, but it made sense. I will defend this book. Really enjoyed this. This was a 5 star. I really enjoyed this. Like, I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that. High key recommend. Her next book is Vampires. Keep an eye on for this author because I could see her going places. But yeah. Yeah. So that is what I read this month. What did you guys read? What was your favorite book of the month? What do you plan to read next month? Can you believe that it's already November? I can't. I don't know how we're here already. It is already December 2023. I felt like high school was last year. I graduated high school last year. I graduated high school in 2016. It has been, I don't even want to count. I'm getting old. I know, Jen, I could hear you rolling your eyes when I say that. But I will see you guys later. Next Friday's video will be the book club picks for 2024. Very excited to start. I'm going to be wearing my Christmas sweater in the rest of the videos, but I didn't want to because this isn't like a technical December video or end of the year video. This is just the November wrap up, but I will see you guys next time. Bye!